What's up, pen pals? This is Tom Otto with Gold Spot Pens, here again with another monthly top 5 video to take a look at the month that was in the world of fine writing. So April was a crazy month in the world of fine writing and also at Gold Spot Pens and everywhere in the world. Hey man, this coronavirus thing did not skip anybody, and we all have to kind of put our best faces forward. That's why we're dressed to the nines here for today's top 5 video. We're just going all out, still punching through, still shipping every day, and still chugging along despite some issues with other manufacturers being closed, especially Italian brands having issues with their particularly hard hit with the coronavirus. Other shipments kind of getting delayed because of issues and logistically bringing product in, and some of the supplying shippers just kind of being a little bit on the laggy side. But hey, you know, we're still trying to make do with what we have. We're staying healthy, which is the most important part. And we're taking every precaution that we possibly can to keep everybody in the Gold Spot team healthy, as well as you guys too. So we're making sure to take all of our best practices, be clean, in sterilizing everything that we possibly can, so that way there's no possible chance of making this virus stay around longer than it has to be. That didn't stop some of our top tier brands like Lamy, Platinum, and Sailor from coming out with some awesome pens for April of 2020, and we're here to take a look at that. So here's my quick disclaimer about this list. This list is created by sales, likes, comments, and customer feedback received on goldspot.com. It isn't my personal top 5 list or greatest of all time list. This list is a list created by you, the fine people of the pen community. So we have an honorable mention this month. This pen, unfortunately, did not make our list. It should, but it didn't, because just not enough of it came in to satisfy the initial demand. We received the Platinum Curidas in sometime in April, early April, and it just completely flew off the shelves, but we really just didn't get enough of it. And it's a shame, but that's one of the effects that this pandemic has caused, is that shipments from Japan have been delayed from Platinum, and the overwhelming demand just sucked up every single piece that we possibly had. So we don't have this pen in stock, but we're expecting more to come in. But this was a pretty popular seller. It's on the cover of our spring edition of the 2020 magazine, which is kind of just more or less an updated version of the fall one. So we added a few more pages and updated some products that were new in there, and of course changed the cover of the catalog. Also, another one too is this Pelikan M200 in the pastel green. Not sold any of them yet because they haven't come in, but this one we're also expecting too, and it's on our catalog, so it would be nice if it actually arrived sometime soon. The Platinum Curidas is a retractable fountain pen. It's made out of PMMA resin, and it's translucent, so you can see all the interior mechanics of the fountain pen as you do the retraction mechanism. And it has a stainless steel nib available in extra fine, fine, and medium. It uses a Platinum proprietary cartridge or converter system. Both are included with the purchase of the pen. And it's $80, which is way under most other retractable fountain pens that are available in the market, which there aren't many. So it definitely is a pen that we're looking forward to getting more stock of. So check out our email newsletter. There should be a link below in the description to sign up for email updates, and we'll let everybody know when more Curidas comes in. Number 5 on our list is the Narwhal Schuylkill fountain pen. This fountain pen came out in January of 2020. It was introduced at the Philly Pen Show, and Frank from Narwhal himself brought these in to introduce as a special edition to be released at that show. Reason why it's called Schuylkill is that it's named after the river in Pennsylvania. So, and then tying in with the Philadelphia Pen Show. It is slightly different from the other Narwhal Piston-Fill pens in that the acrylic material that Frank chose for this pen is completely opaque in the cap and the barrel. What it does have that's different from the other Narwhal pens is an ink window towards the front part of the barrel, right below the barrel threads. And on top of that, this Narwhal pen actually does post. It doesn't have the greatest of posts, I will admit. You kind of have to really force the cap on the back there, but it does give you that option to post, whereas the other Narwhal Piston-Fill models do not. So it's a edition that's made completely out of this very nice A little bit chatoyant, nice marbled acrylic. It's dark blue with black and slight hints of, let's say, like lighter colors because of that chatoyance. It has a nice pearlized effect on there. As with the other narwhal pens, it has a number 6 size stainless steel nib that's manufactured by Narwhal. It's a fine point, but many people, including myself, feel that it writes more like a Western medium. Good wet flow, and it's easy to replace with a number 6 if you would like to. You could pull the nib and feed out of the housing and be able to replace with, let's say, any Yovo number 6 style nib. It's a piston-fill fountain pen, so you would turn the back end here and you could kind of see the piston move forward and backward through the actual acrylic in the barrel slightly, so it's somewhat translucent but very dark compared to the other Narwhal pens. So originally Frank intended these to be a special edition release for the Philadelphia Pen Show and then brought them over to LA. I think pretty much everything had sold out at both of those shows, but he made an additional run for us and he sent us a batch in April. So we do have a limited amount of these Schuylkill fountain pens, and they are $55 each, available at goldspot.com. So number 4 on our list is a weekly dip special. It is the Parker Premier in luxury brown with pink gold trim. Very unusual to see a Parker on the top 5 list, but here we have something that was a great value that people saw a lot of enjoyment with in the month of April. This is a twist-off cap fountain pen version, but we did have the rollerball and ballpoint on sale as well. It was an incredible price for a luxury writing instrument such as this Parker Premier. And so Parker has a long history of making fountain pens, of course, originally starting in the United States. This pen is actually made in France. It actually has it stamped on the cap band here. And this is one of the higher end models that's kind of in between, let's say, a sonnet and a dual fold. Like dual folds, a lot of people know from the vintage pen market is one of Parker's most highest end type of pens. But this Premier was a collection that was actually introduced in, I would say, probably the late 2000s as a kind of like a very like higher end model of a sonnet. It's a brass bodied type pen, so it has a lot of good weight, solid weight to it. It has your classic sort of tapered design, tapers towards the end of the barrel here, tapers towards the cap, and just has a very striking silhouette. So the luxury brown model is kind of like an upscale model of the Premier, which is already an upscale pen to begin with. So this has a little bit more design flares about it, which is this pattern that they put on here, this striping pattern, which has an Art Deco sort of feel, very old school, especially when you combine it with the Parker Classic Arrow clip and the Parker logo that's engraved on the cap band here. The nib is a 18 karat gold nib on the fountain pen. From what I have had feedback from our customers, that it's a pretty wet writing nib, and it's a little bit on the thicker side too. So if you have a fine, it's going to be more writing like a medium-ish, and then a medium would be a little bit broader as well. The pen is a cartridge converter. It does come with both options available to start. You could probably see it here, but it's really not like heavily in the pink gold. So it's more like a yellow gold, but with like a warmish tint. You got to check out this box. So this Parker box is what the Premier comes in. And it's got like a bifold or gatefold opening here, and then the pen would be resting underneath. It would have this little card here. It's almost like a museum display. And then you would take it apart here, and then you would have your cartridges underneath, along with a warranty and a instruction booklet, and then the pen would be resting in here. It's a really great presentation. If you're looking to give this as a gift, this would really impress the socks off of whoever that this is going to be received by. So what made this pen a great selection for our weekly dip special? Well, it's a luxury pen to the nines. It's conservative, but yet has enough of that decorative flair that really sets it apart from any other normal type of luxury or high-end pen. And it has an 18 karat gold nib, which is quite a nice nib to write with as well. This was available at a weekly dip discount that was crazy. We couldn't last it for longer than a week, but however, we do still have some inventory that's available at 50% off. So check this out at goldspot.com if you're interested in this particular Parker pen. Next on our list is the electrifying Edison Newark AC/DC collection. Exclusive to Goldspot pens, this fountain pen is made in the United States. This is the battery blue model, And we just released this actually at the later stage of March. Edison still cranking out pens, even though Brian Gray is like down to a very minimal amount of staff. I think he's primarily the one that's going into the workshop and getting out orders and producing pens and things like that. It's a lot to be able to fulfill the need for these pens at this time for him, and certainly do appreciate the fact that a small business like his is still continuing to go on and trying to make do with this whole entire crisis that's going on. And this, I mean, he did a fantastic job with these Newark fountain pens. This is an exclusive design with Gold Spot Pens. It was a collaboration between ourselves and Brian Gray. We based it loosely off the Menlo model, but then made a lot of modifications to kind of give it its own unique, distinct flair, and also make it a little bit more useful, because the Menlo is a piston pump model, and we wanted to have a cartridge converter to make it easier and a little bit more accessible for folks out there in the pen world. So like I mentioned, it's cartridge converter compatible. It's an international style cartridge or converter. So it does come with the converter to start to fill up with bottled ink. You can remove the converter, grease the threads here on the section, and then convert this pen into an eyedropper. And the neat thing about the Newark is that the materials are semi-translucent. So you could be able to see through the acrylic, and it's all solid acrylic all the way through, except for the clip that's here. And you can kind of see like the clip where it's fastened in here on the top part. It's pretty neat. This pen, the colors on them are fantastic. This current state of the union here is that the AC and DC, so it's alternating current and direct current. And this represents direct current, it being that it's battery blue. So if you're familiar with history, Edison was a proponent of DC or direct current, and then Nikola Tesla was for AC, alternating current. And currently today we use both forms of current, but in terms of the battle of like who wins out, and I mean it was a fierce battle back then, but we have a battle of which pen wins out. So we had purchased identical quantities of both the AC high voltage green and the DC battery blue. Currently the standing is that the AC high voltage green is winning in terms of the amount of sales and whatnot. So I have the battery blue here. I didn't want to take one of the high voltage greens because I was afraid that maybe if I took them and brought them back home, that somebody might need them for an order. But I have the battery blue here at the moment, but we'll be returning this shortly so that we could be able to get this out to anybody who would want it. The nib on this pen is a stainless steel number 6 size JoWo nib. So it's available in a bunch of different widths to suit your handwriting. Extra fine, medium, broad, and a 1.1 millimeter stub. This guy here is the medium point. So you could swap out this nib with any JoWo number 6 size nib and it will work perfectly. So the Edison Newark, completely solid acrylic, made in the USA, $169, available at goldspot.com. At number 2 on our list is a 200, the Pelikan Classic M200 Smoky Quartz. This is a special edition released by Pelikan in the year 2017 that matches the Edelstein Ink of the Year of the same name. So it has a very dark, decadent, translucent brown resin barrel and cap that just, instead of just having a constant tone of the translucency or the transparency, it has a sort of shifting tone where you can actually see certain areas are more opaque and certain areas are more translucent, which gives it its smoky appeal. It's trimmed in gold, which I think looks absolutely great with this pen. I couldn't imagine it any other way. It almost looks like a box of chocolates that I just want to grab and just tear apart and eat in one sitting. It has the iconic Pelikan beak clip. You got the Pelikan birdies on the very top of the crown here. It has a stainless steel nib that is gold plated, and it's a Pelikan proprietary nib that easily screws out, so you can have the option of purchasing replacement nibs for your M200s, and swapping them out is pretty easy right there. Just twist it on in and out. I've seen these nibs actually made in Germany, and it was fascinating to see a strip of stainless steel get punched out, shaped, fused with the iridium ball on top, then also heat set with the feed, and then test written with and everything. It's just amazing to see the level of quality that and attention that goes into every single Pelikan pen made in Germany. So why is this pen from 2017 appearing on a top 5 list of 2020? Well, This particular pen was on our weekly dip special, and as you know, with our weekly dips, the price ends up getting a substantial discount during a whole entire week of the month. And so we had some stock left of fine, medium, and broad of this particular Smoky Quartz fountain pen, and we put it on sale, and people, boy, they just take to it, and it just ends up flowing right out. So we do still have some medium and broad nib M200 fountain pens available, and they're still on sale for 30% off, although during the weekly dip, I'll admit, it was less expensive than that. So this is something that when you check out our email newsletter and you're a part of the Gold Spot email, and you'll see when these deals go out so that you won't miss them and then have to end up paying more for it later when they end up selling out and you're looking for it on eBay and you can't find it because a lot of people are selling them for a lot more once they end up being completely sold out at the retail level. So the Pelikan 200 shape is very similar if you're used to, let's say, a Sailor 1911 Standard or a Pro Gear Slim. It's a little bit on, let's say, the smaller, kind of like vintage, I would say, pen size. It's not your oversized pen, but it's a great fit for both men and women. Feels comfortable, especially posted in the hand. It's just a great writer. It's a little bit on the wetter side and also a little bit on the broader side. So if you like a really fine line, you may want to try to get to extra fines on Pelikans. I know extra fine's not available in this particular style, but if you like the wetter, broader lines, definitely aim for like a fine or a medium, and those will be pretty satisfactory, I think you'll find. So there you go. Number 2, Pelikan Classic M200. And at number 1, for April 2020 Top 5 Pens, Lamy Safari Candy Special Edition of 2020. Beautiful array of colors that Lamy introduces every year with a new special edition to the Lamy and now also to the All-Star Collection, as we had seen with the Tourmaline last month. These Lamy Candy arrived in the beginning part of April and just have been a knockout in terms of just popularity, sales. People love the colors. I think even more so than last year's colors, but they're particularly drawn to the boldness, I think, of the hues and also the matte finish and also the matching trims. So the Lamy Safari usually comes in a special edition, and usually it's just a color of the actual ABS plastic body and cap, and then they leave, let's say, the nose cone here, the separation between the section and the barrel, a different color, and then the clip will be the same color, like either black or like a chrome. But with these, it's completely monochrome design, so everything got the same color all the way through, from the ballpoint, fountain pen, and rollerball, with exception for like the fountain pen's nib, of course. Can't color it the same color, or can they? I don't know. Maybe they're holding out on us. The colors on these are really fun. They kind of remind me of Mardi Gras. It just kind of has that flavor, I think, when you combine all three of them together. It kind of feels like New Orleans Mardi Gras sort of theme, but they just go extremely well together. So I could see people, let's say, buying multiple pens just to get them in the different styles here. So one noteworthy thing is that the Mango, even though this is the rollerball, the Mango actually comes in a matching ink, fountain pen ink, and ink cartridges as well. Didn't make them in the other colors, but I'm not sure exactly why, but the Mango is a pretty refreshing, zesty color. So this one here reminds you a bit of the Lamy Dark Lilac, but this is actually violet. It's a little bit brighter of a color, and it doesn't have the black trims on it. So it has the monochrome trims all the way through, except for the nib, of course. The fountain pens include a blue LT10 ink cartridge and also compatible with the LZ28 converter, which is sold separately. And that's true of any of the fountain pens in all three colors. Then you have the Aquamarine, which is a really nice spring color. And like I said, matching trims. These guys are all made in Germany. Saw where they got made. Beautiful place, beautiful manufacturing facility that they have there. They know exactly what they're doing over at Lamy. They have a crack team of designers and manufacturing. They have very capable hands making these pens and using some really high-tech stuff to make sure that they are quality control is excellent, that all the pens came out consistently and are great writers right out of the box. The Safari is an amazing starter fountain pen for that reason. These pens are made in Germany, and we actually got to see where they came from. in our tour of Heidelberg, and we saw safari pens actually being made from the pellets that they would take to put in the injection molding machines to the adjustments of the nibs using lasers, actually shooting like lasers and adjusting the nibs and heating them up and things like that. It's really, really cool to see how these pens get made, and it gives you such a fonder appreciation for the quality and the reliability that such an inexpensive pen like the Safari includes right out of the box. Which, speaking of the box, it's just Lamy always includes the Safaris in just this very plain looking cardboard box. It has like this flat insert that's here that the pen clips onto, and very no frills, but it's all about the pen. It's all about this beautiful colorful pen that they include here. So there you go. Lamy Safari Candy is your #1 pen of April 2020. So there you have your top 5 pens for April of 2020. What to expect in May? Well, May, we hope that we're going to see good things in May. I'm really hoping to see the back end of that curve coming down in May, that in New Jersey, particularly here, we start to see things opening up again and businesses start to work again, and that will hopefully be looking to return to somewhat normalcy in the next month or so. You know, hoping, and I hope that in your area of the world that's going to be true too at some point soon, and that we find a vaccine and that we are able to make this a better place, a healthier place, and that we could get things moving again. What I hope that will be moving again is more platinum Curidas that we'll be able to receive from Japan. That's something possibly to look forward to in May. And as a little special teaser, we have a brand new pen brand coming. Can't tell you what it is right now because I love to keep it a secret, love to keep you guys in suspense. You know, who is it? What brand is it? But it's a big brand, and we're doing videos on it. So me and Chris were able to work out, even though we're not doing the video here in my house, but we were able to work out something where we could still social distance and keep each other separate and be able to do some videos regarding this brand, so that when we launch it, it's going to be a fun thing for you guys, and you'll have plenty of things to look at, plenty of videos and background information and all the things that you need to know about this particular brand. Another thing that we're expecting, which I alluded to in the intro, was the Pelikan M200 in that nice pastel green. Where is it? Spring is kind of going into summer right now, and that's a really nice springtime pen that would have loved to see, but I mean, alas, that's the issue when it comes to all this stuff with the coronavirus, is that things kind of got delayed, pushed back, so hopefully we'll see that sometime soon. Oh, another thing that just actually arrived this week was the Sailor Pro Gear Slim in the Fairy Tale. So this is a collection of different Sailor pens that have like a metallic sort of like little suspended particles, similar to, let's say, the Supernova or the one that just came out, the Blue Dwarf, but these have like Japanese fairy tale themes. So they're really beautiful selection of bright, vibrant colors, and then have that kind of that marbly sort of sparkly finish, which is really cool. Again, what I had mentioned last month actually didn't pan out, which was the Retro 51 exclusives that are arriving to Goldspot. We're actually expecting them to come in this month. And I know that actually Texas particularly is lifting their stay-at-home order this week, but I think that the owner of Retro, George Kartsadis, is looking to keep his employees still socially distanced, still closing the office for at least another couple weeks, just to be on the safe side. And that's the kind of thing that we have to take into account when it comes to reopening things, is that just because one person says everything's reopened, is that maybe we should just take a little step farther and just kind of make sure that everything is safe and sound before we go full-blown way open here. So that's what we're still operating under. We're still keeping ourselves socially distant at the office, and we're still maintaining a very light shipping crew, trying to get everything out as fast as possible. But we are shipping daily, even if it takes maybe an extra business day or two to fulfill your order. So thanks go to all of you that support Goldspot Pens by liking, subscribing, and placing orders on goldspot.com. Truly appreciate it, and thank you for tuning in. Stay inky, my friends. Take care.